Good day, friends. Miloa here. Today our adventure starts with Lethe, and our chapter is The Shadow of Mordor. It's begun. Lethe looks around at the scattered bodies of orcs, men, and stout axes. Before I realized what was happening, Vaski and the others slew the men of the Order and fled out of the dungeon. I wanted no part in this plot, but it's going to be worse for us if we stay here much longer. Perhaps we'll be able to hide in Udun, but escape Mordor? I do not think so. It does not matter where we go, but we have to get out of here. I know the way to the gates of the Dark Tower, but I'll need your help. What will it be? It's now or never, Miloa. Alright, let's go.
All of this can't be us, can it?
Why do the orcs fight amongst themselves while our brethren make for the gates? Perhaps we have found some good fortune at last. Come on, Miloa. Is that Oshog? Maybe he knows what happened. Don't you look at me like that, Shaglob.
If I could still move my arm, I'd slash her throat.
Oshog coughs and black blood leaks from the corners of his mouth. The sneak was on his way out like the high up wanted, and then you lot came in swinging knives around and it spooks him. Next thing I know, one of us gets bit, and another takes a tumble off the stair. You lot are easy enough to put down, but not him, and we couldn't even if we wanted to, or we'd be for the pits. Ah! But some thought it'd be worth the pits to gut that little frog. Oshog laughs weakly. We were at each other's throats in an instant, and we forgot all about your little revolt, Shaglob. Always goes this way anyway. A few will get out, but it won't take long to round them up. Even if you find a way out of Lookburs, you'll never escape more. Oshog chokes and his eyes widen. If we don't want to end up like them, we ought to find some weapons, and fast. Okay, here's a bow. Not compatible with my class. I guess no to the mace as well. Let's see, dagger. Dagger should do. Okay. Talk to Lethe. Aha! This'll do. Over here. Okay, I'm coming.
Aye, it's good enough. There's no time to pick through the rest with all these orcs about.
Lethe glances towards the twisted stair. We'll have to climb down to reach the gates. Quickly now. Watch your footing, Miloa. It's a long way down. The black one hurts us. Orcs hurts us, and now nasty dwarves. Now if we hurts them first, precious. Ah! As Lethe approaches the pale creature, it suddenly springs to its feet and attacks. Ah, leave us alone, Gollum. Gollum. Ugh, what was that thing?
Was that the Dark Lord's prisoner? No wonder he wanted to be rid of it.
Lethe sighs and regains his breath. It's a good thing you drove it off, Miloa. I swear it looked so sickly and withered, but it had the strength of a dwarf. Ah, but there's no time to dwell on that now. We've got to keep moving. But if we cross paths with that thing again, I say we keep our distance. Half hidden behind a brazier, Lethe peers into the distance.
We're not far now. I fear the worst is still ahead of us.
Ashok was right about one thing. Even if we escape the Dark Tower, we won't get far without being noticed. And it won't be Udin for us after all this. I promise you that. We'll end up in the Black Pit or... Lethe visibly shudders. They'll bring us to the Dead City. Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. I don't like the looks of this, Maloa. Too many dead. Too quiet. Look there! One of the captains fell in the fighting. And if that armor fits, we might have found our way out. Go on, Maloa, put it on. Ugh. Nasty orcs' armor. Ugh. As you put on the ill-fitting helm onto your head, Lethe calls you over. Let's have a look at you.
I think that might just fool them.
Now listen, Maloa. There's a long causeway just ahead of us around that corner, and at its end, the gates of the Dark Tower. Since you look like a proper orc, why don't you scout ahead and peer around the corner? If the way is clear, we'll make a run for it. Okay, go on. I'll keep watch. Okay. Let's peer. Okay, guess I'm not standing. That's far enough. That's not to be seen. Alright. You spy an Uruk looming over a wounded stout axe blocking the way out.
What did you see? Is the way clear?
You tell Lethe that you spied a massive Uruk and a wounded stout axe on the causeway, and that many more stout axes have fallen in their attempts to escape. I knew they'd set a trap for us. I just knew it. Lethe gnashes his teeth in anger. Bah! Perhaps I pretend to be your prisoner. We might be able to fool that Uruk. If not, well, it's our only chance, Maloa. Follow me. Ha! Did you think the Great Eye would just let you walk out of Lukbur's Shagalop? Ushgard whips Savaski before turning to you. You, orc! Why is it that one not in change? And where did you get that knife? Ushgard's eyes narrow as he looks you over. Clever, clever. That's your plan, is it, stone filth? Nah. I'll be the pits for the three of you. Barukazad! Run, Maloa, we'll find you. Okay, I'm running. I fled from the Dark Tower. I did not look back. I could not. I traveled through many unfamiliar lands, but Mordor never seemed far enough behind. But here, among the Blue Mountains, my heart is free of dread.
That was quite the story.
I think it took all of us quite by surprise. A welcome surprise, of course. Not just any dwarf could do as you have done. It's been a long week for us dour hands. Our steward, Gormer Doursmith, was preparing for a great celebration for Skorgrim, our king of old. A ritual of commemoration, he called it. But after the Longbeards came to Eredlund demanding tribute, He sent us down here to close the pass. We've been at it for nigh on a week now, and in my reckoning is right, we missed the celebration 3 nights back. Some thanks we get. Nagli appears to realize his grievance is pale in comparison to the plight of the stout axes. Here I am complaining about missing a party to you, Miloa. Forgive my foolishness. I can't speak for everyone, but I think we would be glad to hear more of your tales when we return to Thorin's Hall. Perhaps you would even be welcome to stay among us for a time, if the steward allows it. Miloa has told us enough for one night, I think. Starfy. Oh, come on, Nugly. We haven't even heard the half of it. Skithy. Aye, it's quite a long way from Mordor to the Blue Mountains. Ulver. Oh, tell us just a little more, won't you, Miloa? Nugly. Now. It's no good to hear the whole story at once, is it? Besides, we've got our orders from Gormer. There'll be time enough for stories tomorrow. Urfith. Break's over, I guess. Ungar. Fine. Nagli. Follow me, Miloa. Rethvard.
Yes?
Nagli swiftly recounts her tale to Rethvard. After finishing, Nagli asks Rethvard to bring you before the steward of Thorin's Hall, that he might judge your worth to the dour hands. Aye, I can do that, just as soon as Blarney arrives and take watch. He's almost an hour late now. It's not like him. I'd like to hear that tale from you, Miloa, if it's not too much trouble. It'd make the journey to Thorin's Hall seem faster for the both of us. Rethvard visibly shivers. A chill wind blows. Do you feel it? I wonder what's keeping Jarny. Oh boy. Skorgrim King? But you are dead! You have lain in state since Steward Gormer found you in the Silver Deep. How do you walk among us once more? Be not afraid. Hearken to me, dour hands, and all shall be revealed. Skorgrim glares at you. His eyes flash with an unearthly glow. You are far from home, aren't you? Dour hands! It is by the hand of Ivar and the sacrifice of your steward that I live once more. But I do not come bearing glad tidings, for we have been betrayed. The Longbeards massacred our people during their ritual of commemoration, and their treachery stains my tomb with Dourhand blood. But hope is not lost. I have been promised an audience with the Witch King of Angmar. Angmar shall prove a mighty ally, and we Dourhands will avenge this tragedy and reclaim what was taken from us. It is time to make your choice. Will you remain here and await your doom, or will you follow me and seek for new glory? A few of the Dourhands have chosen to follow Skorgrim, but it seems some might still be swayed. Boland. As you command, Lord Skorgrim. Oh boy. Starfy. Skorgrim's return was foretold by the steward. I must honor Gormer's will. Angar, please don't go. What are you saying? The Longbeards must answer for their treachery. Erfith. You say that Skorgrim means to deceive us? Whatever you are no Darahand, Maloa. Or maybe he will listen. If Lord Skorgrim believes Angmar is our ally, then it must be so. They're all fools. Rethvard.
You seem a fine dwarf, but you must understand, we are also a lost people.
We tended the halls of Thorin Oakenshield for many years, and what thanks do the Longbeards offer us? You heard Skorgrim, naught but a massacre for our brothers and sisters. Whatever you think Skorgrim King to be, he and the might of Angmar could help us step out of the shadows of the Longbeards and reclaim our former glory. Flee to the Longbeards if you must, but if you do, know that I will not hesitate to raise my axe against you.
Something troubles me about Skorgrim's words.
And that deathly man makes me uneasy. I wish to trust the words of Skorgrim King, but I cannot. Does he speak for himself, or does Ivar speak through him? It is true that the steward Gormer ceased sending tribute to the Lonely Mountain some months ago, but our quarrels with the Longbeards never ended in bloodshed until now. I wish to hear what the Longbeards have to say to these accusations. Has Skorgrim King spoken true, or is this some conspiracy guided by the hand of Angmar? Will you accompany me, Miloa? Perhaps the voice of the stout axe might do more to ease the unrest than that of a dour hand. It's a long way to Thorin's Hall, but I will guide us.
I suppose this is as far as I'm to go.
With the look of disdain barely masked on his face, Nogli eyes the Longbeards that have stopped him in Thorin's Hall. When the Longbeard expedition arrived, I recognized a few of them. They are led by a dwarf named Dwalin, and he is hailed as a hero by many Longbeards. He is an old dwarf, white of beard, and it is not unlikely that he has assumed the mantle of steward in Gormer's absence. If his people truly slaughtered my own, there shall be further bloodshed between us, but I am no longer so certain who seeks to do harm to the Dourhands. You know much of the ways of the enemy, and I must know if our people have been deceived to some foul end. I beg you, Miloa, speak to Dwalin on my behalf. I can handle myself, Miloa. Let Dwalin answer for what has happened. As Dwalin looks upon the Thorin's Hall, he strokes his beard uneasily. What a mess they have left behind. Who are you, and what business have you in the hall of Thorin Oakenshield? You introduce yourself to Dwalin as a stout axe of Mordor, who escaped imprisonment by the enemy and fled to distant lands to seek refuge. You explain that you encountered Skorgrim and Ivar on the road to Thorin's Hall, and that Skorgrim claimed that the Longbeards massacred the Dourhands. A massacre? Aye, you could call it that. But it was the work of Ivar the Bloodhand, not the Longbeards. Indeed, it was Ivar who roused Skorgrim from his long rest. But it was not some miracle of fortune that made it so. It was Ivar's vile sorcery and the unwitting sacrifice of many Dourhands that bound terrible spirit to his remains. Whatever the Dourhands think of Skorgrim, he is not who he appears to be. Although I believe that your Darahand friend means us no harm, he still has much to answer for, and I do not doubt he wishes to hear the truth of his sorry matter for himself. If it is refuge you seek, you may earn it by helping us to restore these halls from the years of neglect by the dour hands. Even if he had not succumbed to evil, Gormer still failed in the task my lord set for him. If Nagli proves trustworthy, he may dwell in Freren's court, but he is forever banished from Thorin's hall. Do you accept these terms, Maloa? You nod. Good, good. Now, I have never heard of the clan name you mentioned, the Stout Axes, but you are welcome in Thorin's hall so long as you work to aid the Longbeards. That concludes today's adventure. Please hit the like and subscribe button to not miss an episode. Thanks for watching.